Yeah.
Bitcoin's gonna hit 180,000 this time. We got this made in the shade, man. I'm here in Dubai again. Please, this is gonna be an amazing run. This will be the biggest run we've ever had. I just can't even wait. Hey, little man, what are you doing?
I'm cleaning, sir.
What color is your Bugatti?
But I only trade memes, sir.
Hey, bro, are you trading memes too?
Of course, bro.
Just make me a whiskey sour.
But why are you so upset, sir?
Nothing. It's just a little correction.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
I started losing everything, man. You know, like the Bitcoin happening, everything's supposed to go up, and instead it's going down, down, down.
Sure.
I don't understand what the problem is. You have Gary Gensler, he's causing a disaster. You have the wars over. I mean, I just don't understand. Is it going to come back up?
Who knew in this bull market only meme coins going up?
These freaking meme coins.
What are you doing, bro? Are you still trading memes?
Of course, bro. What do you expect me to do?
What about the meme from Dorachment? It's going up?
Bro, are you joking? Come to see what is happening.
Are you crazy? You're losing money.
No, that's a wrong time. Okay, look at that.
This is crazy.
I made $500,000, man, from nothing.
Amazing what you made. But bro, this is not enough for your dream car.
Bro, are you joking? I was just cleaning tires a while ago. I just quit, man.
Yeah, now we can go back to it.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes, I can.
Bro, if I'm gonna make this money, I promise you, I'm gonna get this car.
Right.
Oh man, this US election is great, man. Everything's going up. We're so back, man. We are back. This is great.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Hey, you
Oh.
still trading meme coins?
Yeah, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Look.
Bro, look at this.
Whoa, congratulations, man.
Come on, I'm gonna show you my car, bro.
And we are live from Dubai. I'll be heading home here in a little bit. That was you might have seen that on my X account or some of the other places that I've posted it, but that was the skit that we put together, entered into the contest. Of course, there was a lot of great creators there. I don't know, 300 or so. I would, if I had to guess, 300 or so creators that were there. Just wanted to make sure my audio was working there. And Bybit, hats off to Bybit, put it together an amazing event. And as well, I learned a lot while I was doing it. So I messaged Fly Mackey, where of course we're live on the Smart Money Culture TV network, and we're making moves to buy even more stations here. But I messaged Fly and I said, Fly, for the first time, I can actually see how we could put together a nice reality TV show. So that would be pretty nice. Of course, I have the great Matt Dixon right next to me here. We'll bring him on. We've been watching the markets. Of course, the Trump pump. Do not bet against Trump and Elon. That should be very, very clear at this point. The people that have been shorting the markets are sorry. That is for sure. And then we'll talk more about it. Of course, it is due a correction, but you do not want to bet against those guys. And so you want to be really careful out there. There's a lot going on. Of course, we have the Senate, the U.S. Senate, jockeying for position of the Senate Majority Leader. You want to have Cornyn and one of the other guys that are basically the same thing as Senate Majority Leader McConnell. McConnell wants to don them as the next person. Trump has come out and said he does not want that. Rick Scott, he says, I want Rick Scott. Personally, I would like Rand Paul better. But if Rick Scott's the guy, I think Rick Scott is so much better than Mitch McConnell or John Cornyn that it's not even worth talking about. And the evidence of that is clear because, of course, everybody, all the rhinos in the Senate are saying, no, John Cornyn. So hopefully we'll be able to get Rick Scott in there. I'll tell you what, it's something else what's going on. And I can tell you guys, from being here in Dubai and around the world, I wore my Trump sweatshirt as I went through the airports, and everybody's excited about it. Everyone says, those guys, even if Trump is not perfect, those guys that you had in there were so dumb. It was kind of the overall was kind of the overall comment. I mean, they were just so dumb. And then you have the moves. I posted on my LinkedIn last night, or my Twitter last night again, X. And of course, they're trying to make whatever move they can make in order to get Kamala Harris to be the president, even if it's only for a few weeks. So you can only imagine what would happen if that was to go on. We have like literally, how many days now? What, 60 days or something like that until the inauguration? And they're going to try to put Kamala in office and make her the 47th president of the United States, the first woman president of the United States. This is what they're openly talking about on CNN. I mean, it's craziness. We have enough stuff to deal with. You have, of course, the war in Ukraine. That's just, if its current trajectory, no end in sight. You have, of course, the Middle East. That is, again, no end in sight. It looks to me like they're trying to incite stuff all over Europe, save Europe. They have billboards going up in Israel. They very much want that to spread across so that everybody is working with them. I think that, and then you have Netanyahu coming out and saying, I talked to Trump and he's with us 100% of the way. I think Trump is in the best interest of the United States. I think that he did whatever he needed to do to get elected. And he's going to continue to do, whatever he needs to do that's in the best interest of the United States. So I do feel that way. That's a great way to feel. And then another conversation that I've had over here quite a bit is that people say, well, it's going to be easy for Trump to stop the wars. And then maybe someone else says, well, why? Why would it be so easy? Well, it's so easy because if you stop the funding, then you stop the war. Like literally, if the United States stops sending billions and billions of dollars in money and arms to the Ukraine, Ukraine will not be able to fight the war. If they stop sending billions and billions of dollars of funding and arms to Israel, Israel's not going to be able to fight the war. Iran, there's 90 million people in Iran, and Israel, with what's left there, I think at 11 million before this whole war started, but of course half the population is already left. So you have about 5 or 6 million people sitting over there, possibly more, I don't know. But it's not even a contest. And so if the U.S. stops funding those wars, they're over. And so it's actually very easy for Trump to stop the wars. Like one of the easiest things he can do. So that's one of the reasons I think for this Trump pump. I mean, gosh, what's Bitcoin right now? $82,000. Really unbelievable. Looking like you can slice right up past $100,000 so easily. And I'll tell you what, if Trump gets in and starts buying Bitcoin as a reserve, man, it's over, guys. We'll be at $1 million Bitcoin so fast, it'll make you cry that you didn't buy more Bitcoin. All of us that have been trading back and forth, putting money to the side, paying for this, paying for that, we're going to be crying too, because the whole time we just should have been buying Bitcoin. I mean, it's crazy like that. It really is. But the markets are unpredictable, so you have to keep yourself in some types of reality because it can always go either way. We could have a black swan event. Trump could get assassinated, God forbid, and then this whole thing comes crashing down. And I hope that doesn't happen. Elon as well is he put out a post the other day. Someone says you need to Twitter the federal government. And he said, yes, he quoted it. I mean, Elon's really come to himself, of course. He's always been a very entertaining guy. But now, especially more than ever, he has really come into himself. And if we Twitter the federal government, guys, I mean, it's over too. But you're going to have a lot of upset people. My main man there, Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey comes out on his feed, and he says, I mean, it's worth showing. I might have even showed it last time. I mean, this is really worth showing. Of course, Thomas Massey is the guy. I usually have him behind me on my thing. He now follows me. I don't know if he started following me before I put him up behind me or after, but it's worth showing. I'm going to pull it up here. He told the FBI to start packing. I mean, look at this. This is like this stuff, guys. This has never happened I've never seen anything like this before. So a lot of people will be out of a job, but trust me, they're not working that hard anyway. I mean, it is what it is. Nothing against those people, guys. I don't have anything against them. But, maybe the days of those cushy jobs. All right, well, he just posted a minute ago, so I'll go ahead and read that because it's right here, fresh off the press, talking about, well, let's play this. Elon put this out.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple just like dominoes, one by one. They'll go down. That's why today I'm announcing my plan to shatter the left-wing censorship regime and to reclaim the right to free speech for all Americans. And reclaim is a very important word in this case because they've taken it away. In recent weeks, bombshell reports have confirmed that a sinister group of deep state bureaucrats, Silicon Valley tyrants, left-wing activists, and depraved corporate news media have been conspiring to manipulate and silence the American people. They have collaborated to suppress vital information on everything from elections to public health. The censorship cartel must be dismantled and destroyed, and it must happen immediately. And here's my plan. First, within hours of my inauguration, I will sign an executive order banning any federal department or agency from colluding with any organization, business, or person to censor, limit, categorize, or impede the lawful speech of American citizens. I will then ban federal money from being used to label domestic speech as mis or disinformation. And I will begin the process of identifying and firing every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship, directly or indirectly, whether they are the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Health, Human Services, the FBI, the DOJ, no matter who they are. Second, I will order the Department of Justice to investigate all parties involved in the new online censorship regime, which is absolutely destructive and terrible, and to aggressively prosecute any and all crimes identified. These include possible violations of federal civil rights law, campaign finance laws, federal election law, securities law, and antitrust laws, the Hatch Act, and a host of other potential criminal, civil, regulatory, and constitutional offenses. To assist in these efforts, I am urging House Republicans to immediately send preservation letters, and we have to do this right now, to the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, and every Silicon Valley tech giant, ordering them not to destroy evidence of censorship. Third, upon my inauguration as president, I will ask Congress to send a bill to my desk revising Section 230 to get big online platforms out of censorship business. From now on, digital platforms should only qualify for immunity protection under Section 230 if they meet high standards of neutrality, transparency, fairness, and non-discrimination. We should require these platforms to increase their efforts to take down unlawful content such as child exploitation and promoting terrorism, while dramatically curtailing their power to arbitrarily restrict lawful speech. Fourth, we need to break up the entire toxic censorship industry that has arisen under the false guise of tackling so-called mis- and disinformation. The federal government should immediately stop funding all nonprofits and academic programs that support this authoritarian project. If any U.S. university is discovered to have engaged in censorship activities or election interferences in the past, such as flagging social media content for removal of blacklisting, those universities should lose federal research dollars and federal student loan support for a period of 5 years and maybe more. We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution and deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country. Furthermore, to confront the problems of major platforms being infiltrated by legions of former deep staters and intelligence officials, there should be a 7-year cooling off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast quantities of U.S. user data. Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal. In addition, all users over the age of 18 should have the right to opt out of content moderation and curation entirely and receive an unmanipulated stream of information if they so choose. The fight for free speech is a matter of victory or death for America and for the survival of Western civilization itself. When I am president, this whole rotten system of censorship and information control will be ripped out of the system at large. There won't be anything left. By restoring free speech, we'll begin to reclaim our democracy and save our nation. Thank you, and God bless America.
Well, there you have it. I mean, that's just this digital Bill of Rights. Actually, he was talking about before, if you remember. So, President Rep. Thomas Massey followed up with, "I already have a bill to implement a small portion of Trump's bold, sweeping, and necessary initiative to restore freedom of speech. It ends taxpayer-funded censorship exposed by judiciary's GOP and Michael Schellenberger." Now, I initially went over here, though, to show you, and then I'm going to bring Matt on here. Of course, he's talking about the omnibus bill. Here it is right here. So the FBI comes out and says there's offensive and racist text messages that are being sent out to people. And Rep. Thomas Massey, which of course he's correct, it's probably y'all sending them. Pack your bags. I mean, guys, this is major. I mean, obviously, we have to get rid of the FBI. Trump is kind of going in a roundabout way. It's 7-year cooling off period. That's a great start. Everybody just leaves their office. They take whatever files they can take or whatever, and they go on to their new job. Crazy though. Let's talk the markets. I have the great, of course, Matt here beside me in the room.
Hello there. Good morning. So I've actually shared my screen. If you're able to share it there.
Let me add that.
I think I'm already shared. Yeah, cool. So I wanted to start off with gold today. I think it's been we'll check on the amazing progress of the rest of the markets. Bitcoin up about 82,000 as we speak, and probably going higher. You can't bet against the trend, or you shouldn't bet against the trend. As we're always saying, trend is your friend for traders, so don't bet against it. And, don't catch a falling knife is another saying they have. And here, obviously, the knife is falling upwards. So be very, very careful. But I want to start with gold, as I said. We did mention some time ago, a couple of shows back, that gold is potentially going to get a pullback, although it still looks as though it has higher to go. So just looking at this long-ish term chart, we're going back here for a couple of years, 2-3 years now. And we can see basically we had a corrective move basically, and I'll just move across to see more of that. Basically from this point here, this high point here, we had an A down, a B up, and a C down. Now that is a corrective move, that's in 3 waves. So following that, you expect to have an impulse higher, and that's precisely what we've seen here. Basically this impulse higher. Now it looks as though potentially we may have had some kind of wave 1 up to here, wave 2 down to here, then a wave 3 up to here. But even the wave 3 itself is broken down into 5 waves. And I've just labelled those, the small blue labellings that you might be able to see. From this point here, we've got a wave 1 up, 2 down, 3 up. Now the 3 is interesting because if you look at it, it's actually broken itself down into 5 waves. So this is what are called fractals at every scale you look at, there are basically five wave impulses, and effectively 3-wave corrections or combination corrections. So we have here a really nice breakdown of this wave here, again broken into 5. So the third wave, interestingly, is at exactly 2.618 times this first wave. So all I did was measure the magnitude of this first wave, transpose that measurement to the bottom of this second wave, and it gave me the precise top of the third wave. 2.618 is a very, very important Fibonacci number. 0.618, of course, is the golden ratio. And so many things in the whole of creation, the whole of the universe, virtually everything you look at is based on this golden ratio. It's a really very, very important, powerful number in mathematics, in as I say, virtually all aspects of creation, from the spirals of the galaxy and the universe to even looking at the orbits of atoms and so on. It's at everything you look at, even within plants, within spirals on seashells, on fir cones, all these things. It's amazing.
The Fibonacci sequence, Fibonacci numbers. I mean, it is amazing how often we hit these numbers.
Yeah, we had some young guy, and I saw you had it interviewed some time ago, was talking about this and how everything's related in that way. So anyway, we got the wave 3 was exactly 2.618, and then a wave 4 down, and a wave 5 higher. Now this is on the daily. I just want to open this out on 3 separate time frames to see exactly where we're at and why we expected the downturn. But just even on this big time frame here, relatively big, looking on the daily, we can see if we draw a line from the peaks on the price and then the corresponding peaks, absolutely corresponding peaks on the RSI, you'll see price peaks going higher, RSI peaks lower. Now, the RSI effectively measures volume in the market. So what we're seeing here is that the prices are going higher and higher, but it's not being backed by volume. So that's telling you that a lot of the institutions, the big whales, the big gold holders, were cashing out, taking profit, because they knew that the price was going to turn. And this is the precise point here. This was the peak against the RSI peak here, telling you of a reversal. And we did warn of that in advance, saying we'd like to get some short-term pullback, probably higher to go in the future. And if this is a wave 1 up, 2 down, this is actually an overall 3. It'll be a wave 4, then it'll be another 5 to the upside. So it's just a temporary pullback. And we've always been saying with gold in particular, get any pullbacks are an opportunity to add to your position. So never sensible to buy peaks, buy when the market's rallying, and that's kind of what we'll move on to with Bitcoin in a moment. Probably never sensible to chase prices higher. Wait for prices to pull back, because there will be a pullback at some point, as has happened here with gold, and that will allow you to buy more of the asset, obviously at a lower price. So I'll just open this out now. That's obviously on the daily. I'll go back to the 4-hour. And we can see that in a little more detail now, once the chart opened properly. There it is. So the divergence was actually on the daily, which is actually quite important. Daily is a very, very powerful place to look for divergence. And there's still divergence if I were to align the lines. A slight divergence, not a lot, but there is divergence. So basically, again, we are seeing slightly fractionally lower RSI peaks and higher price peaks.
And we're still on gold right now.
We're still on gold right now. So going to the different time frames on gold. So again, we've seen both divergence on daily. We now see there's also divergence on the 4-hour, and even on the shorter term 4-hour, we can see definitely divergence in place from this price peak here. So at this peak here, it's telling you time to sell gold. Now we're getting low on the RSI measures now. Once we go below this point, it's probably time to start thinking about the next move higher. But let's just go. It's really important that we look at the short-term price on gold, just to see the actual price action. And I want to open this out to show you how Elliott wave works. We looked on really long-term a moment ago, but I've just gone on to the hourly time frame. And you remember those amazing Fibonacci relationships we looked at? Well, here we've basically got some kind of wave 1 down, wave 2 up, wave 3 down here. And as I said, that wave 3 itself is broken into 5 waves again. But interestingly, we see that the wave 3 was exactly here 1.618 times wave 1. So again, I measured the magnitude of wave 1, transposed to wave 2, gave me the exact endpoint. This spike here, the exact endpoint for gold before we got a correction higher. Now I suspect that this looks to me like 5 waves higher, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is some kind of correction down probably. So I suspect we may push a little bit higher short term in gold. That will make a lot of sense, because if we're expecting some kind of near-term pullback on crypto, because it's probably gone too far, too fast, and probably needs a bit of a pullback. So that being the case, if there's a bit of risk coming in the market, maybe we'll see a little bit higher gold short term. But this will still be a corrective move. It'll be an ABC correction before another push down in gold. Longer term, I think we're still definitely looking higher. So that's the picture for gold. If we can move around. Let's just look at the SPX. This again, when I mentioned to you about, and I'll probably go back to the daily here, I think. SPX, S&P 500 here. Again, very, very clear divergence in place. So this is telling us, and this is looking at risk assets now. So we've moved away from gold, looking at the SPX. And again, we can very clearly see higher peaks in price and lower peaks in corresponding RSI. And RSI is getting very close to overbought territory. Anything above 70 is overbought. We're 68.95 right now. So maybe a touch higher to go, but I think we're on the very verge, on the cusp of reversal for risk assets. Maybe not a massive reversal, who knows, but we need to be aware there could be a reversal. So maybe time to protect your profits at least. Even if you don't take profits, at least protect them, because as I say, don't bet against a trend, and the trend is clearly higher, but just make sure you lock in some profit just in case we get a sharp reversal. But that's on the card from what we see here with this, what's called regular bearish divergence. It's again telling you there's no volume behind this current upward move. When I say no volume, less volume. The volume is declining, and that's a warning sign that this trend move is coming towards an end, most likely, and we'll get some downturns. That's SPX. Let's just have a quick look at oil, because oil has taken quite a tumble, as we can see here. And again, we could probably look on slightly longer term on oil, but it's heading down quite sharply. So there's a couple of possible reasons for that. Obviously, at the moment, we're seeing a bit of a respite. There's no current major turmoils in the international news, at least in the Middle East. Or in Russia, Ukraine right now. I think Russia's under a lot of pressure. I think there was a major drone attack against Russia, wasn't there? But overall, there's no major news, no major geopolitical news. So there's a bit of a respite in those geopolitical tensions. But also, when you think about the fact, and I'll flip over very briefly to DXY. So we'll flip over very briefly here to the dollar index. We can see dollar index very clearly pushing here sharply higher. Now, I just want to show you dollar index. The dollar is getting strong. Bear in mind, oil is priced in US dollars. Everything's priced in dollars basically, but oil here is priced in US dollars. And so if the dollar rises in value, that means the oil price goes down, because basically you need, if the dollar's stronger, you need less dollars to buy a barrel of oil. That's the simple explanation. So that's one other possible explanation for the rapid fall in the oil price here. And also, it's entirely possible we've got a very sort of short-term head and shoulders. I'll put it on a 4-hour to probably show that more clearly. We've got a head and shoulders type structure here. It's reasonable, so left shoulder here, head up here, right shoulder here, and potentially pushing down. Retest that low there, possibly. So that low was, it's only a month ago, a couple of months ago actually. September, we saw a low price in oil. It looks as though we're going to challenge that and maybe go beyond. Or the alternative is we could see a double bottom there if the oil price drops, and then we could rally higher. But at the moment, the pressure seems to be the downside, but we need to watch these markets. So we'll move over to the risk asset markets. We'll look at Bitcoin, which is still holding above that 82,000, brand new all-time high. As Bruce said, if Bitcoin were adopted, within the US reserves, for example, and Trump seems to be, all for this for the time being. If that
For the time being, you never know with Trump, though. He really did. He changed.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of power at the moment, so he can do a lot of things. So who knows? We saw, I mean, this is the 4 hour. There's a kind of golden cross in the 4 hour. Prefer to look at daily, but we had a golden cross when Bitcoin price was 59,000. And you see we're pushed now. That's where the short term, the 50 moving average, moves above the 200 moving average. So we have a golden cross, and it stayed that way ever since. And right now we're at $82,000. And as Bruce, I mean, I've actually said for a long time, and I had mentioned on this show, my next target to the upside for a long, long time, right from the low points back here in the 48,000 area, was 84,000 for Bitcoin. The reason being, that's one of those Fibonacci extensions, and we just mentioned the power of these Fibonacci relationships. 84,000 is a Fibonacci extension. So that is an area where I'll look for maybe a potential turnaround. I said we're due a turnaround, even if it's just short term, who knows, but we're due a turnaround soon. 84,000 might be that sort of area that we'd turn. So again, I'm looking for tops in the market. I wouldn't advise shorting the market. I'd wait for some confirmation. So I'd look for 5 waves down on a shorter time frame, maybe the 1 hour chart, and 3 waves back up. Then I would look to short the market. You'd then have good risk reward. Risk would be the previous all-time high, and the reward would be a fair movement to the downside. So right now, and again, we'll scale out a little bit on Bitcoin. We'll go onto the daily, I think, just to show where we're at. We had this massive consolidation, which I actually thought, and I was surprised, to be honest, that first time we failed, we retested the previous all-time high almost precisely, and you can see price moved down quite a bit. So we retested that 73,000 level. Price actually moved down to 66,000. So a big pullback, but then the next attempt, we sailed right through it, like a knife through butter, as Bruce likes to say. So now we're above that.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It is pretty impressive.
So now we've surpassed that level. Is now what was overhead resistance now becomes underlying support. And so for Bitcoin to break below it, it's actually now got to break this, what is now support. That's not going to be easy. So right now, there is, some reasonable support on the market. But again, if we were to break below, then all bets are off. But I think that all the news, assuming we get no geopolitical black swan events, and the economy seems to be reasonably robust for the time being, the dollar's pretty strong, as I expected. Just flipping over to the pound here, we can see the pound has had a massive reaction to the downside, which is showing dollar strength. But it's what we expected. Again, we showed this in advance. We had a WXY to the upside on the pound from that low of 103 a year or so ago. A perfect WXY to the 50% Fibonacci. It's not exactly a Fibonacci number, but it's used a lot in trading circles. So we had a very nice movement there. Price was rejected from that level and moved down quite sharply. So from the 134 level, we're now down at 128-ish. So big move down on pound, potentially much, much further to go. So we're looking at more dollar strength most likely. And here's going back to the dollar, the US dollar. I do believe that we do have probably a long way higher to go on the dollar. So I'll just sort of scale out again to show you where we're at on the US dollar. This looks from this big movement up here that we had where dollar was 114, the dollar index, 114.80. We had some kind of move down. It looks corrected because there's a lot of overlap there. There's potential now that we've already bottomed out, possibly already bottomed out here, and we're going to head higher on the US dollar. Now that's telling you potential risk in the markets. Normally, you'll see an inverse correlation between the US dollar and risk assets. At the moment, it's not working that way. We're seeing a stronger dollar and stronger risk assets. At some point, you would expect probably a stronger dollar to maybe start to put some dampeners on the US economy. It would mean that exports are a lot more expensive for the US. It may begin to put a dampener on the US economy. It may actually hold back inflation for the time being. But then you've got counter forces. Obviously, Trump has got lots of policies in place, protectionist policies as well, which would potentially be slightly inflationary. So at the moment, inflation's reasonable, growth is reasonable, markets are flying. So don't bet against, as we always say. Markets can stay irrational longer than you stay solvent, or you can stay solvent. And I think that the markets are getting into irrational territory. Have you seen the latest Fear and Greed, Bruce? Where's that at? Do you know?
Let's take a look.
Yeah,
I'm sure greed is very high. Right, coin. It's right on top of coin market cap.
you can just do Bitcoin Fear and Greed, and it's
Okay. Well, I'm already here, so
Yeah.
here we go. Right here, 79.
okay. So so that's just greed, not even extreme greed, is it?
Well, that's what I have here. What's the chart you were saying?
Yeah, I just do Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin would be interesting. Bitcoin Fear and Greed. Index, yeah, that will do. Yeah, just tag that one, yeah. Be interesting anyway that we must be getting towards extreme greed territory, I'm sure. Yeah, it was there, wasn't it? That one, yeah. Oh, wow. Amazing. So if you pull that one up.
Which one?
Oh, this one here. Okay. Yeah. So we are at a reading of what I would call extreme greed right now. So
It says
extreme greed, 76. There's still potential to go higher.
So this is showing 79, just greed, but it is actually extreme greed, is depending on who you're.
So it shows we're getting towards territory. As Warren Buffett always said, you basically buy when there's blood in the streets, and the opposite is the case. When everyone's extremely euphoric, as extreme greed would tell you, when everyone's euphoric in the markets, it's time to start thinking about, is it time to start selling? So I would be cautious. We have looked at SPX, but again, there's very clear signs with SPX that we've got some clear regular bearish divergence again in place here. We've shown that, telling you of reversal to come. So I think everywhere you're looking right now, there's bearish divergence, even with Solana, for example. Actually, Solana, funnily enough, actually is showing some divergence right from the previous. We had a high of $209. We're above that right now. So let me just see. Yeah, we've got definitely higher price peak, and we've got lower corresponding RSI. So I'll just go from the previous price peak there to there. So we can see that you've basically got higher price peak and lower corresponding RSI. That's telling you regular bearish divergence. That's telling you, although the market can go higher, it's telling you there is regular bearish divergence. So the market is probably overbought, and it's being pushed. The volume being pushed now, not by volume, more by just maybe retail people following the price. As I say, be like the professionals. Do not chase prices higher, but just look at some of these signals that are telling you that perhaps they're a little bit overbought right now in the market, and maybe time to at least take profits. And I've measured this. We've got basically an ABC down. We've got an ABC higher potentially. So again, I think there's real potential for turnaround, and actually quite a potential turnaround. I mean, this, we could potentially drop quite a long way here. So this would tell me that we are possibly lining up for some geopolitical event. And Iran have said, and I've seen signs, warning signs and news coming out of Iran and that region saying that Iran are preparing for a major strike against Israel that will be very different from what they've done recently. So let's see if that materializes. We obviously hope not. We're hoping for peace. But from a trading perspective, we put emotions aside and we just look at the facts that are out there. And the charts are telling us that there's a real potential for downside.
And, keep in mind as well, if you're one of these derivative platforms and everybody's just long and everybody's just making more and more and more money, at a certain point, the markets have to reverse so that you can stay solvent.
Yeah, I mean, so they can stay solvent.
Yeah, so that's what I meant. So they can stay solvent.
Yeah. And again, from this low point here, and this low point on Solana was 109. So I remember that low. I was actually watching it that day and saying that's a good time to jump in. We have had what I think is a clear A up, B down, and C up. And the C wave is always made up of 5 waves. So if I look at that C wave, just break it down. We've got wave 1 up, 2 down, 3 up. And the wave 3 went to just about 2.618, not quite, but almost 2.618 times wave 1. And then we got a really good, powerful, extended fifth wave there. So again, C wave has been broken into 5 waves. We've got a powerfully extended, actually very interesting, powerfully extended fifth wave there. I just want to see what extension it was. Okay. I mean, the potential for it to even go higher, but it's a powerful fifth wave there. So again, we've got all sorts of divergences, both short-term and long-term. This divergence, by the way, has been eliminated, so I can remove that. But here on the daily, we have long-term regular divergence for Solana. The rest are the same. We've had an amazing pump of Ethereum, by the way. Ethereum, I didn't think it'd ever recover quite the way it has. It's actually recovered against Bitcoin. So if you look at the Bitcoin-Ethereum ratio, see Bitcoin has done some real catch-up lately. So some people I know trade within the cryptocurrency arena. So they actually trade cryptos against other cryptos. And for those people, those real diehard crypto enthusiasts, that's a great way for them to trade. And it just means they build more and more crypto that way. And especially when it's pumping against fiat overall, then it's a fantastic strategy. And I know some people where it's worked very, very well. So that's the Ethereum. We'll just flip on Ethereum very, very quickly just to see where we're at. You can see the powerful pump there that we've had in Ethereum. Again, though, we've got a long way to go to all-time high. My Bitcoin 82,000 plus is new all-time high right now. Ethereum's 3179. The previous all-time high was actually 4,800, I think it was, wasn't it? Right back here. Was it 4,800? Let's just see where it was. 4,800, that's correct. So you can see we're a long, long way off that. And even if we look on the short term, we're not even near the previous local all-time high. So I think that, again, we're probably due for reversal. Again, I think Ethereum is not one of the best bets. I think that nowadays, Solana is the retail chain of choice. Solana is where all the meme coins are launched. So I personally love Solana, as you know, and it goes up more than other tokens and goes down more than other tokens. So it's a great trader's choice as far as I'm concerned. BNB, Binance Coin, effectively is one of the more boring ones. So it's a solid one, long term. I remember Binance when it cost next to nothing, and look at it now, $625.
Impressive.
As we speak, yeah, absolutely impressive. But again, this is a corrective move to the upside. You know, this is corrective. It's very, very overlapping movement to the upside. So again, even if it moves a bit higher, I think we're due for a pullback there as well. Just flipping through very quickly, looking at the tokens. It's actually a relatively flat day and the biggest performer of the day in general. I mean, Sui actually is, again, one of my favorites. It's one of those that came out of Facebook, Libra, if you remember that. There were a couple of tokens came out of there. Sui was one of them, and it's up 7% today. And just look at the candle there, it's massive. So again, we've got some kind of maybe wave 1, 2, looking at that overall, 3, 4. I think we're getting towards the end of a fifth wave, most likely. We could still go a little bit higher, but again, I think we're due a pullback sometime soon. But Sui is a great one. One that I've been recommending to people recently, and it's a real outperformer. Even XRP has begun to wake up a little bit, but I think everything has to when Bitcoin's been rallying the way it has. But even so, we're still seeing, if it continues to push higher, fine. There's a lot of corrective movement around there. I still think that even if we push higher to a new local high just above here, we could get to the 70 cent area. But I still think there's another pullback to come yet with XRP. But again, we've always said XRP is one that can surprise you.
For sure. You just never know. Market can go one way too, and XRP has been known to go the other way.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this sideways movement, daily sideways movement for right back from May 22. It's all choppy sideways movement. I believe XRP is going to drop below that. And they've got these ongoing argument, as it were, with the SEC. Who knows when that's really going to be resolved? I know the SEC appealed against the last ruling, and that's possibly what's been a dampener on the XRP price. So if the SEC were to win that ruling, who knows now with Trump? I don't know, maybe a new leader.
Gary Gensler is out. He's stepping down December.
Yeah, well,
He didn't want to get fired. See, this guy's gonna get fired.
yeah.
Everyone loved that video.
He'll probably want to make some noise before he goes, though, I guess.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Not long to go. So that's pretty much it for today. Again, markets have been absolutely on fire. One of the big rises, by the way, has been VET. I know a lot of people love VET as a token, but the markets have been on fire. But I think we may get some water poured onto that fire fairly soon. So just be very, very careful. All-time highs are great. I guess time to take a bit of profit, be happy, and sit back. And wait for the next big move, next big news.
So the next big move and the next big move is exactly right. Well, awesome, Matt.
Thank you, Bruce.
The Market Watch Report with the great Matt Dixon. Of course, I will be returning to my homeland, but it has been a pleasure to do the show a couple of times with you, and we'll be back in bull runs. I am here in Dubai quite a bit.
Great, thank you, Bruce. All the best, everybody.
The money is here. It is really great. I got to hats off again to this crypto content creators conference, Bybit. Really hats off to you guys. Did a great job bringing everybody together. A lot of the people that you're going to see collaborating on some really great moves. I mean, as big now. Bitcoin goes to $1 million, and it's just like one of these altcoins. But when alt season really starts, which it does appear that we're getting at that point, you're going to see a lot of these move, 10, 20x. I mean, that's once you go past that, especially, it's life changing. If you watch the skit at the very beginning, that's what the guy was saying. I made $500,000, man, all of nothing. And it's true. It can happen. I have one of my friends, he's running around Thailand right now. I hope not with ladyboys, just with actual ladies. But he put in some money into Pepe 500x from his entry point or whatever it was. And he says, well, this is enough money for me to not live maybe in New York City, but it's enough money for me to go run around Thailand and chase my dreams for a little while and just kind of hustle. And so that's what he's doing. And so that's the type of stuff that can happen. And the memes are very much a part of they're very much part of the culture of crypto. And it's that whole, you can make it big out of, not having anything really, and then you can really make it big. And so that's pretty cool. So I'll give a shout out to a couple of the memes that I'm trading, as long as they have a decent chart here. Let me just look and make sure. Well, one of them I know does. Dalgo. The reason I know Dalgo does is because it has this locked liquidity in it. And I've talked about this one a number of times. I'm going to switch my screens here. Right over here. So Dalgo has been going up like over 5% a day. It seems like. So I actually sold and bought this one back. So I was pretty happy about that. It doesn't always work out well like that. But you can see it's up 8% today, and that's Dalgo. That's the meme coin of P Gold. So P Gold is the Polka Gold. And this one is up 4%, you see. Now, these are still, it's kind of like Ethereum or XRP or these other ones. These are still well off their all-time highs, which is pretty interesting. But as well, Algorand, so Polka Gold is backed by Algorand. So what they did was some whales put a bunch of Algorand into the pools. They burned it so they can never get it out. And so those are the liquidity pools. But if I just go out here to max on Algorand, I mean it's well off. What are we at here? $3, $2.50. We're at 14 cents right now. So even 10x from here, that's $1.50. Will Algorand do that? I think so. I think it will. When it does that, what's that going to do to the price of Polka Gold with the locked liquidity? Well, I think that's going to go up even more. So if Algorand does 10x, because Polka Gold has the locked liquidity, I think Polka Gold will probably do more than 10x. Now, of course, guys, we get paid to do this stuff. These are extremely volatile markets. It could go to zero. Okay, I don't think so, but it could. We're not financial advisors. All that stuff I'm supposed to say. Okay, and then you have Dalgo, and Dalgo has locked liquidity of Polka Gold, which has the locked liquidity of Algorand, and this thing is it's just really going. So if I look on here, it's only been around for a couple of months. But if I go to here, Max, you can see the all-time high. It's not far off. And you can see even here, let me just go to the 1 month. Very nice move up here. So big supporter of these guys. Another one there. Let me go back over here to CoinMarketCap. Let's see here. Well, let's look at how Global Boost is doing. Global Boost, Hardcoin, Global Boost. We've had a pretty nice move here. Fairly volatile at the moment. 1-2, we were up above 3 cents there for a minute. I do expect that to continue upwards as we go here. Nero H. Friends here. Nero with hat. Check them out. Up 162%. I talked to him yesterday. He sent me a voicemail. This had dipped down. The market cap right now is about 200,000 market cap, and it had dipped down to like 40,000 or something. And I sent him a message, and I said, hey, man, I know you're not giving up because, you know, nowadays to get on CoinMarketCap, I hope they don't get mad at me for saying it, but you pretty much have to pay for it. It's not like the old days where you just like, you know, they want their $5,000 or whatever. It seems to me like. And I hope nobody gets mad at me for saying that. It just seems to me that's how it is. So he paid the $5,000, got the listing here. He's also paid for multiple central exchanges to be. Some of them are already there, and some of them are coming. So I'm a big proponent of that. And then of course we have Sulky the dog, which I'm also like. I think one thing that's important that people don't realize a lot of times is that you have to pump the coin in order to get people excited about it. There we go. You got to pump the coin. The coin's got to move up and down. It's okay. It's like De Niro with hat, like I just showed you, right? $200,000 market cap right now. It went down to $40,000 market cap. Nobody cares that it goes down to $40,000 market cap if then you spike up again. It's fine. That's just trading. Actually, volatility is liked and even treasured a lot of times by people. And with new meme coins like that, nobody is really trading leverage or anything like that. It feels like you're trading leverage sometimes. But if you have a project like that where you see the people, and I mentioned the Nero with that because when you see the people and they're putting out that money, they're paying the $5,000 for the CoinMarketCap listing, they're paying whatever it is, you know, 15, 20, 30 grand, whatever it is to get listed on these centralized exchanges, you know, give or take. And you see those things that they're doing. And well, maybe that's why it's going up and down, right? It goes up. You take some money out, you use it to advertise, you use it to move the token forward, and then when it goes down, hopefully you buy that back, right? Yeah, it's similar to stocks and everything works. So great show today, guys. I'll be back in the good old US of A if they let me back in. I'm always like this when I go back in, right? Are they going to let me back in? Are they going to let me back in? Okay. Those days are long over. But I'll be back. Be back with the family. The girls are, my girls are missing me. Wife's missing me. Kids are missing me. And it's been a great show. Great to see you, Matt.
Cheers. Thank you.
We're signing off, guys. We'll start with our little jingle. We're gonna record a lot of cool stuff. I got a lot of content ideas.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.